Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive into A Nation of Idiots by Daksh Tyagi.
Oh, this is going to be good.
It's a satirical look at modern Indian society.
Yeah.
And it uses humor to tackle some pretty heavy issues like gender inequality and political corruption.
I think what's so interesting about this book is how Tyagi uses personal anecdotes right alongside that social commentary.
Oh, absolutely.
He doesn't shy away from those difficult conversations.
No, he doesn't. And you know what else he doesn't shy away from? Demonetization.
Oh, yeah.
He kicks off the whole book by recounting his experience during the 2016 demonetization.
When 86%?
86% of India's currency was just poof, gone.
Invalidated overnight.
It was chaos.
Yeah.
And he shares stories of people trying to navigate this, like Kareem, who tried to launder his cash by buying advanced train tickets, like way in the future.
Such a clever idea.
Oh, it's so clever.
It makes sense.
It makes perfect sense.
But the government was ready for them.
They were ready.
They were ready. They capped cash purchases for tickets and made refunds basically impossible.
Well, you needed tax documentation.
You needed tax documentation, so
Right.
it backfired for poor Kareem.
But it's a good story.
It is a good story.
It is. It makes you think, though, like how easy it is to get swept up, in the frenzy
Absolutely.
without thinking of the consequences.
Have you ever been caught up in a frenzy like that?
Oh, gosh, all the time.
Like when the stock market crashes or a viral trend pops up?
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
It's hard to stay grounded.
When everyone is panicking or losing their minds.
Right, you get pulled in.
You get pulled in.
And this kind of feeds into Tyagi's next point, which is like this pressure to conform.
Was conformed
To be the ideal Indian
to
man.
the ideal Indian man.
And he pulls from his own life for this,
He does.
all of his multiple name changes growing up.
Like how his science teacher kept calling him Dosh.
Dosh, which means to strive for perfection.
Which is great, except...
Except it's also the name of Lord Shiva's father-in-law.
Yeah, so not so great for a young kid.
Poor guy.
Poor guy.
Got branded Fileto short for father-in-law
He
for
did.
the rest of the year.
But it does speak to this expectation to fit in
Oh, absolutely.
from such a young age.
Societal expectations.
Societal expectations, yeah.
And it doesn't stop there. He talks about this thing he calls the good bacteria defense.
Good bacteria defense.
It's how he explains just like blindly accepting tradition and rituals.
Without question.
Like his friend whose construction project got stalled.
Because his ancestors supposedly disapproved of the 5-story building.
Right.
And the solution was obvious.
Add another floor.
Add a 6th floor.
Because, ancestors are very particular about building height.
Of course they are.
But it's funny. But it's also like it points to something deeper.
Yeah.
This prioritizing tradition over logic.
Right. Prioritizing faith and tradition over logic or reason.
It makes you wonder how much of what we believe is really, truly ours.
Yeah. Is it based on critical thinking or what we've been told? And it's not just religion either.
No, it's everywhere.
It's politics, social norms, consumer culture.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
We just accept things without thinking.
And speaking of things that need more critical thinking,
Oh, here we go.
Tyagi's look at the challenges women face in India is
very important.
it's powerful, and he doesn't hold back. He shares some pretty shocking statistics.
Oh, yeah.
Like over 100,000 sex-selective abortions every year.
And an average of 110 rapes per day.
It's heavy stuff.
It is.
But he weaves these statistics into narrative.
To highlight the reality.
Yeah, to show the contrast between women from different backgrounds.
So on one hand, you have Samarth.
Right, whose mother wants to find a fair bride with a big dowry.
Emphasize the fair.
Oh, yeah.
Colorism and classism are still huge issues.
Absolutely. And then on the other hand, we have the story of Ramesh and Shefali.
Now that's a chilling example.
It is.
Of how societal norms can justify violence against women.
So Ramesh was obsessed with this girl, Shefali. And when she married someone else, he was devastated.
Heartbroken.
But then he finds out she's having an affair.
Yeah.
And what does he do? He rapes her.
And he justifies it by saying she was asking for it.
Because she was unfaithful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a horrible story.
It is.
And it makes you realize how far we still have to go.
In terms of gender equality.
It's a lot to process.
Yeah, it really is a lot. And Tyagi explores it all so well. He doesn't just shy away from any of it.
And he doesn't shy away from challenging tradition either.
Oh, right. Like his whole thing about refusing the cover at that wedding.
Those envelopes of money.
Yeah.
It's like a whole thing.
It is.
And he tried to politely decline.
And the bride's mother just about lost it.
Oh, she accused him of being insulted by the amount.
Oh, yeah. She thought he was turning it down because it wasn't enough money.
Right. And it's just like this small tradition But so much weight.
So much weight, so much meaning behind it.
Makes you wonder how many things we do without thinking.
Oh, yeah, like just going through the motions.
On autopilot.
Autopilot, exactly.
And it goes beyond traditions, right? Like our political and religious beliefs.
Oh, absolutely. And Tyagi gets into that, too. He talks about how those systems can be used to manipulate people.
And he uses this really cool analogy of bells and claps to explain it.
Oh, yeah, from his time in Kashmir.
Right, during that period of unrest.
So tell me, do you get the bells and claps thing?
I'm not sure. Lay it on me.
Okay, so think of bells as religion.
Okay.
They're constant presence.
Familiar, comforting.
For some, maybe a chore for others.
Right. But generally peaceful.
Exactly. And then you have the claps.
Okay.
Those are the moments of upheaval, the sudden disruptions.
The things that shake things up.
Yeah, like a protest or a controversial verdict.
And he's saying politicians use those moments to their advantage?
To distract and push through their agendas.
It's like he gives that example of the finance bill during the Ayodhya verdict.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Everyone was so focused on the temple dispute.
Which was huge at the time.
It was, and meanwhile, they snuck in changes to foreign funding rules for political parties.
Wow, that's some serious sleight of hand.
It is. It's like a magic trick misdirection.
It makes you realize how easy it is to get distracted.
And how crucial it is to stay informed.
Even when things are chaotic.
You need that critical lens to see through the distraction.
See through the BS.
And that brings us to Tyagi's look at the British East India Company.
Oh, yeah. The BAIC.
Not something you hear a lot about.
But super interesting.
Can disturb.
How profit can drive colonialism.
What's crazy is that the BAIC was a corporation.
It was like the world's first publicly listed company.
With a private army.
That's wild.
And their only goal was profit.
Maximizing profit.
No matter the cost.
And Tyagi brings up the Bengal famine of 1769.
A tragic example of putting profit before people.
Leading to devastating consequences.
And it makes you think, are we doing the same thing today?
Are we still making the same mistakes, just on a different scale?
It's a scary thought.
It is. And from there, Tyagi shifts to something a little more modern.
The media.
The media. And he compares it to pro wrestling.
Specifically, the concept of kayfabe.
Okay, now I'm lost. What's kayfabe?
It's basically presenting staged events as real.
Like faking it.
Yeah, creating a spectacle.
So he's saying the news does that too.
Oh, yeah, creating this hyper-reality to grab our attention.
And he uses his own experience with those exaggerated reports about attacks on Indians in Australia.
Oh, yeah, those were blown way out of proportion.
And he talks about those hero anchors.
Oh, yeah.
The ones who are supposed to be trustworthy truth seekers.
But they're playing a role.
Just like the wrestlers.
Exactly. It's all a performance.
And it's scary how effective it is.
We're drowning in information.
So much noise, it's hard to tell what's real anymore.
And that's where Tyagi's Citizen's Guide comes in.
How to diffuse an idiot.
He gives us some tools to fight back against all this idiocy. Okay, so first you got to figure out what kind of idiot you're dealing with.
Like categorize them.
Yeah, is it a religious idiot, a political idiot, a social idiot?
To know your enemy.
Know your enemy, exactly. Then you challenge their beliefs.
But not by yelling at them.
No. You got to be calm, use reason, use evidence.
So meet idiocy with intelligence.
Right. And finally, don't be afraid to call out their hypocrisy.
Expose the BS.
Shine a light on it. Make them accountable.
It's like that story he tells about the couple at the restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Where the husband insists on paying.
Even though his wife offered.
Classic case of, what was it?
Performative masculinity.
Performative masculinity.
Showing off for his friends.
And she just shuts him down.
Calls him out for taking money from her parents.
But refusing to let her pay for lunch.
Boom. Idiot diffused.
Love it. But it goes deeper than that, right?
Oh, yeah. It's about challenging those norms, those expectations.
Ones we accept without thinking.
And I think that's a good segue back to the challenges women face in India.
Right. We touched on it earlier.
But there's so much more to unpack.
Like the subtle everyday stuff?
The constant pressure, the unspoken rules.
He calls it the social alarm clock.
Always reminding women of their duties, their obligations.
And he tells that story about Chef.
Who was constantly being reminded about her own children.
Like she would just forget about them.
Yeah, as if motherhood should consume her entire identity.
Like it's her only worth.
And it's not just motherhood, it's everything.
How they dress.
Yeah.
How they behave. What they prioritize.
It's exhausting.
And limiting.
It really is.
But Tyagi's point is that we're all trapped in these cages.
Whether we realize it or not.
And the first step is recognizing those cages.
And then figuring out how to break free.
Breaking free, reclaiming our agency.
Yes, creating a world where everyone can be themselves.
And that goes for sexuality, too.
Oh, yeah. He talks about that contrast between Ancient India,
where sexuality was celebrated.
In art and literature.
And today, where it's all hush-hush.
So much shame and secrecy.
And he blames religious dogma and Victorian morality for that shift.
Like imposing these rigid rules around sex.
And remember that story about his friend's date at the club?
Oh, yeah.
Who was appalled by premarital sex?
But like, dude, your own religion is full of erotic art.
It's so hypocritical.
It really is like this cognitive dissonance.
And then there's the Khanna family.
Oh.
Where the son comes out to his parents.
And they're more worried about the neighbors
than their own son's happiness.
Classic.
It's funny, but also kind of sad.
Yeah, it shows how societal pressure can just crush individuality.
And Tyagi's message is clear. We need to reclaim our sexuality.
As individuals and as a society.
Embrace our desires. Break free from the shame.
Have open and honest conversations about sex.
Create a culture of respect and consent.
It's a powerful message.
And it ties into the whole book, really.
It does. It's about questioning the norms, challenging the systems.
Recognizing that we can be idiots, but we can also change.
It's a call to action. To be more conscious, more aware.
To fight against inequality and injustice.
To embrace critical thinking and empathy.
And to create a world where we celebrate our differences.
A world where truth matters more than fiction.
A Nation of Idiots really makes you think.
It does. It stays with you.
We highly recommend checking it out.
It might just help you diffuse the idiot within.
And maybe even inspire you to fight the idiocy out in the world.
So until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep fighting the good fight.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.